I'd like to show what are we doing to bring observability into the daily practice of software developer. CodeStream is an extension for popular IDEs, Visual Studio, VS Code, and JetBrains. We bring observability right to where the developer lives. This is the IDE. Now, in this demo, what we're showing, we're using the extension for VS Code. Now, the CodeStream pane is broken down into six different sections: observability, merge requests, feedback requests, code marks, issues, and CI/CD. Now, each of this have enough contextual and actionable information for better decision making. Collectively, this represents the world's greatest to do list for the software developer. So let's start with observability and specifically code level metrics. The whole idea here is to provide a lot more data to the developer in order to make better decisions. Imagine you jump into the ID to fix a bug, and without having to move out of the ID, you can see that the code is perform how the code is performing in production. So in this case, you've seen the build models is a method, and there's a code length associated with in terms of average duration, error rate, and 83 samples in 30 minutes. And the idea here is I get some data to understand how the code is performing. Now, if I choose to click on this, then I'm going to see the charts of visualization and metrics over time in production. So here I'm seeing the Department of Customer Service production and the corresponding error rates associated with that in terms of when and at 858 you can actually see that's actually gone fairly high and the corresponding samples. Now if I need more data, I can click, I can go straight to the new Relic platform to see any more data associated with that. So I'm going to get the same data what I'm seeing in the IDE. Now furthermore, I like to see this service in production is giving error rates, but how is it performing in staging environments? So in that case, I may choose the different entity to basically give me the telemetry associated with the method in the staging environment. So let's take a look. So I can see the error rate continues to remain 100%, and this 83 samples over a period of 30 minutes. The trend seems to be a little different, but it's reasonably good. So in case if you have multiple lower environments and during the development phase, if you end up having the entity deployment for development, you could catch the performance issue or the issue a lot more earlier on rather than having to deal with at a later stage. Imagine you're reviewing a pull request and the changes happen to be involving a code which is not performing in production. Now, in addition to kind of give a more easier interface to review a pull request, we also bring in the telemetry data in the review process, creating a notion of data-driven code review. So let's take an example. The example in question I have core test, which is tested, and basically once I click on it, I'm going to see the corresponding files which have changed during the process. And let's say my specific interest area is program.py, and once I click, I'm going to get the diff across both of their environments and how the code has actually changed. Now, as I scroll down, the method of interest is basically the build model, and I can see the corresponding code level metrics associated with each of the methods in terms of how are they performing in the various environments. If the code in the lower environments is not meeting the performance requirement, um, I can send it back from rejecting the PR, asking them to rework on it. So in the last part of the demo, I'm going to be talking more about the workflow. So in this case, let's say I want to start working on a specific workflow in terms of check of threshold, switch and start my work. So my branch gets changed. I can go and basically make those changes if I want to. Let's say I want to make the lines at the same time. I want to go and ask LSTM units change to 10. Is this workable? Go and post it. It's going to put onto the Slack channel. And once that is done, I may want to get some feedback on the code. So I can basically select a part of the code. I can go ahead and raise a feedback request. I can write what I want. I can add reviewers, and I can go ahead and put the first commit and go ahead and submit. Now, I won't be doing that because that will actually cause an additional feedback request going out, so I don't want to do that. So once I've done with my merge request, I can go ahead and raise my work. Once my work is done, I can go ahead and raise a merge request. In this case, there's already a double request, which is so basically I can I would want to kind of do that differently. So I will just change my branch just to show that the merge request can be raised. There's already another merge request which is raised out here as well. So I can go ahead and raise a merge request. I can go ahead and create the merge request. This concludes the developer workflow.